Okay. Hey everyone, we just wanted to do a quick video to let you know about our big exciting news, our upcoming move to Spain. So anyways, we assume most people watching this are our friends and family, but we just thought we'd introduce ourselves anyways. We're the Roskows. I'm Bailey.
I'm Ian.
And we just wanted to do a quick video so you could hear straight from us why we're moving.
This is our baby, by the way, Calvin.
Calvin. He's coming with us.
This isn't a random kid.
We're moving this summer with my sister Sawyer. And so we just want to do a quick video sharing why we're going, how we're doing it, and kind of just talking about the risks that we're taking.
Some goals for the trip as well, and why we're doing it, and why the location we picked.
Mm-hmm.
So because we are not good at filming, Calvin's going to be in and out and all throughout the video. So he started out asleep in it, and now he's awake. Sometimes he was in his plaything, other times he freaked out and he's in our arms. We changed the diaper. It's been an ordeal. But here we are.
Making it work.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you have any questions at all, we'll link little timestamps if you want to skip through some of this. Just we know it's kind of long. Okay.
Why are we moving? We're gonna do. Bailey's gonna explain why she, things that have affected her life, and then I'll go into a little bit.
This desire and this dream to live abroad is kind of one that's been stirring in my heart for a really long time. My family took a trip to Hungary when I was a young teenager, and I just immediately caught the travel bug. My dad's a pilot. I grew up on the border of Mexico for 10 years, so I've always had a lot of intercultural interaction, and I just love it. I just thrive in it. It's been an important part of my life since I was young, and in college I studied abroad in Italy for 3 months, not 3 years. And it was, I kind of thought that would fulfill that dream of living abroad, and it did in a lot of ways. It was definitely a special experience to be able to stay longer than a few weeks, but it definitely left me wanting more. I really realized it takes a lot longer to learn the language and make friends and really experience the culture. By the time we were getting married, it was still like a very big part of it was by that point a big part of who we both were.
In college, I had the opportunity to go on a 6-week trip to Greece, and I just loved that. Loved talking with the people. We went there to discuss, faith, politics, like just deeper things, and try to connect with the college students there and expand, our views, but also, connect them with some stuff that was already going on in Greece if they were interested in what we were talking about. So I love that trip, and then from there on, after that, me and Bailey were dating, and then we got married, and as Bailey said, it became both of our goals to kind of move abroad. One of the final things that kind of...
I wanted to mention it. When we first got married, we strongly considered moving abroad right away. Mm-hmm. We were seriously looking at getting certified to teach English in another country. Other things we were considering, just applying for jobs overseas, things like that. But it kind of came down to that. It just didn't seem like a great career move for Ian, having an engineering degree. It just seemed like if he was going to actually use his degree, it wouldn't have been a great choice for us to jump right from him being in this intense 5-year degree to like going and teaching English.
So I got a job, and while I was applying, we kind of grew up in Brenham. Both of us grew up in Brenham together, family, friends. Started dating in college in College Station at Texas A&M. And so those two places are 45 minutes apart, and we grew up going to Houston a lot, so we kind of wanted to move out, have an adventure. We were thinking somewhere else in the States. So when I was applying for jobs, we're like, anywhere but Houston.
Literally.
We'll accept a job anywhere but Houston.
I said that multiple times, and I ate my words later.
Yeah, and he ended up accepting a job in Houston, and it ended up being the greatest thing for us. We were just... opportunity after opportunity came up, and we realized this is where we were supposed to be.
Yeah, the Lord just opened every door for us here, and I got a really good job opportunity to work with Beth Moore's ministry, Living Proof Ministry.
So we've gone on trips since then, and we've just loved it.
We took a trip to Spain 2 years ago, And I think that trip was one of the most pivotal points for us as far as like committing to taking this risk and making this move. We were kind of like right in the middle of Ian just kind of like killing himself with his job, like killing himself at work, and
yeah, it was a lot of work,
and just like having a soul-sucking commute that we were just like we kind of lived like at a point that was closer to my work, and we just weren't getting to spend like much time together at all. We rented a car in Spain on this trip that we found super cheap tickets to, so we kind of just like did it on a whim, and we were reading the book The Alchemist on our drive to Lisbon, Portugal, from Spain, and it just kind of like really motivated us and opened our eyes to the idea of like taking a risk and just pursuing a dream even with our fears. And so you want to talk a little bit about The Alchemist?
Yeah, we won't get too much into it. It's a great book, you should read it. It's an allegory, and there's like,
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, we just took it and applied it to what we know is true in our lives. But an underlying theme of it is you need to an underlying theme in the book is that you need to, if you have a desire that you've been given, something that you feel you want to pursue, you should pursue it, because you're going to regret it if you don't. And then also that when you take these risks and you start moving towards a goal, like things are going to happen in your lives that is going to help you achieve that goal. If we're truly pursuing what we believe God's purpose for our lives is, that He will back it up, and maybe not in all cases.
Or He'll close the door if it's not where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. So to summarize, one of the final reasons why we wanted to do it is that I read this book called The 4-Hour Workweek, which is just a great book all in all. It has a great advice in it from Tim Ferriss took stuff from a bunch of different books and put it in this book, and so overall just a great read. Still working 40 hours a week, if not more, but there's this quote he has in it that kind of shifted my perspective. He said, if retirement is the end goal, that is fundamentally wrong for 3 reasons. But the first reason is the one that hit me, and he says that it's because it's based on the assumption that you are doing something that you do not like during the most physically capable years of your life. If you're aiming for retirement, and that's the goal, is to try to like retire early, that you are using your most physically capable years, your 20s or 30s, to aim to work hard and aim for that goal. He outlines a new idea, which is try to make your life balanced, like do work you love doing, and make it the ideal situation. So once I got that idea in my mind, I started thinking about what would my ideal career look like, and what would our ideal living situation look like in a few years, 5 years, 10 years. So we've always had this desire to make a big move. We wanted to switch up our jobs. We wanted to create a better balanced lifestyle. And so we thought, hey, if we should go for it. We're young, we have the opportunity, we've been blessed with that. Yeah. So we should just, give it a whirl.
On that same trip, when we got to Lisbon, there was kind of a moment of impact for me. We were at this small restaurant. There was probably about 10 tables there, and we were placed at the same table. A lot of times in Europe that happens, where people share tables, which I think is great. But we were with this couple. It was kind of one of those things where we had to acknowledge them because they were right next to us, and they were probably like a few years older than us, and they're from Germany, and so they spoke English, and we just started talking to them, and we noticed that Lisbon was like unusually bumping and busy. Well, they told us it was because everyone gets the week of Easter off, and so we were like, whoa, that's cool. And we kind of got into this discussion of like how much time we get off, why we were there, and we were like, oh, we're just taking some of our vacation, and we told them, we get like 2 weeks of vacation a year, and they were like, what? Like, she's a teacher, so she was a teacher, so she obviously got a lot of vacation, and he was a lawyer, and I think he got about 6 weeks of vacation a year, and they just could not believe that all we got was 2 weeks per year. They're like, how do you spend time with your families? And like, it was kind of eye-opening for me, like, the rest of the world doesn't live the way that a lot of us and our friends live, and that we don't necessarily have to live that way. If we're willing to make sacrifices with our finances, with our jobs and where we live, like we can choose to prioritize the things that are more important to us, which to us, spending time together and spending time with our family is very important, and it's worth some driving crappy cars and maybe living in a smaller apartment. It was just a really eye-opening experience for me, and just challenging my beliefs and being willing to look at things a different way. So Spain in particular, we settled on Spain because we really wanted to live in Europe, because there's a lot that we want to see there and a lot that we are comfortable with already a little bit, like as far as traveling and just living goes. And Spain in particular had a visa that we will talk a little bit more about later. We have been to Spain, we loved it so much. Culture values family a lot, values time together, and just we just loved so much about it. But we also have a little bit of knowledge of Spanish, and we both have always had the desire to learn Spanish, and we knew we wouldn't unless we lived somewhere where they speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, I would not put in the time and the effort to learn the language unless it's a need. So why Barcelona in particular? We chose Barcelona because for one reason, it's really centrally located compared to a lot of other places in Spain. Spain is pretty big, actually, compared to a lot of other European countries, and so Barcelona is very central to, that makes it easy to travel to other places within Europe. It's very diverse, which is something we love about Houston, and we are really excited about with Barcelona too. And probably one of the biggest reasons is Ian's cousin and her family live in Barcelona right now, and we just love the idea of being close to family. They have 2 children, and one of them is very close to Calvin's age, and so that made me really excited to be close to them. And just I mean, if we're gonna move to Spain, why not move somewhere where we're close to family? And so there's lots of other reasons why we're excited about Barcelona: the weather, the location, close to the beach, close to the mountains, but it just made the most sense for us.
Why now? Yeah, so why now? It's kind of a few factors. We talked about, we ended up in Houston, and we just wanted to make a move within a year, but then it kept getting pushed back. But now, particularly because I've hit a point in my job where I have 3 years of experience, which kind of is the point that opens a lot of doors, a minimum requirement for a lot of resumes and other job openings. And then also because this little guy is about to be 1 year old, but he'll still be under that age of 2, which means he'll fly for free, which is awesome.
With our assets.
Oh yeah, and we're very liquid right now with our assets because we knew we were wanting to make a big move. We don't have a house. Both of our cars are old. I drive a 2001, she drives a 2000. So we never bought new cars or even nice cars because we knew that we would be potentially selling them in the next few years.
So how are we doing it? We are applying for a visa called the Non-Lucrative Residency Visa, and this visa is very similar to a retirement visa, in that the primary requirement is that you cannot work a job in Spain. You can't work for a Spanish company. You can maintain an American job, but you can't be taking money from their economy, and they also want to see that you able to support yourselves and your family for however long you're applying to stay there. So for us, it's for a year, and there is like a lump sum requirement that you must have and show proof of to be able to live there and to be able to be approved for this visa. And so that's like the very short answer. There's a lot of requirements for this visa that we have been really working hard to get everything together. And I actually discovered this, I think, a while ago on Pinterest. Like a very long time ago. I was looking up places we could move abroad, and I discovered a blog called, I think it's called Wagner's Abroad. It's this family, the Wagners, and they wrote a really, really helpful ebook about applying for this visa. So we'll link that and share that with you, because we can't really take any credit for learning how to apply for this visa. We use that book, and it was super helpful for us. We have an appointment at the Spanish Consulate in 2 weeks to apply for this visa, and so hopefully we'll get approved. If anyone has specific questions about this, we're so happy to talk about it. We just didn't want to bore you guys with the details. How are we, like, we have a lot of stuff. Clearly we have a home, an apartment, and so we are selling and giving away almost everything we own, minus a few sentimental and just valuable items. We kind of agreed that we wouldn't keep anything more than what would fit in a car.
I'll try to keep it brief on work.
What are we doing for work? That's the answer.
Yeah, so
That's the question and answer.
how are we making this work? Because even though we have this lump sum, we basically liquidated all our savings and put it in this savings account to show that we can apply for this visa. We don't want to use that money, right? We don't want to just take a year off of work. We'd like to keep our savings where they are, if not increase them. So I'm a computer programmer, and so I have a lot of opportunities to work remote. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to be trying to get a remote job. Basically, I've been working with a technology consulting company, and initially I thought about, okay, is it possible for me to remote work with them? But just the way in which we work, I know my boss would never go for it, for good reason. Like, you should be at the client site. But what ended up happening is I was open with him. We were able to work something out. Just the other day, actually, he came up to me and he's like, hey, what do you think about working remotely on this current project or on this other project I have? Which would have never happened if I had approached him and been like, hey, can I work remote on these projects? Bailey and I would like to move. But taking this risk and kind of committing to it, now I guess he's either choosing to help us or just wanting to keep me on even remotely. But now I potentially have this opportunity to work remotely for the company I've been working with, which could be really cool. So
which is not our end goal, but it's really nice for now.
We've been blessed. We didn't have any debt in college. We were able to, when we had dual incomes, put away a good amount of savings, so that I haven't been stressed at my job. I haven't been worried day in, day out whether, something bad is going to happen. How am I going to provide for my family? We have that, ability to say, okay, I'm going to start applying for jobs. If there is a in-between time where I don't have a job, that wouldn't be ideal, but we'd be fine, And we're willing to take a pay cut from what I'm currently making, live a little more frugally, and I'll be able to get an entry-level developer job decently easy remotely. So these are all decisions that we made, but the long and short of it is I'll be finding a remote job here in the next few months, just so that we can take this opportunity in our lives to go live somewhere that, will hopefully pay off in the long run. So.
And this is what I'll be doing for work.
Yeah.
Wrangling this guy.
This one, not yet. Who knows who has the harder job?
But yeah, I may end up trying to start working once he gets a little less needy.
Oh yeah.
So what are the risks we are taking? I would say the biggest one right now is obviously that we haven't been approved for our visa yet. So like, that's pretty scary. We're banking on that, but we have our appointment in 2 weeks, and then we hopefully we'll hear back from the consulate in about 4 to 6 weeks after we have our appointment. We have bought our plane tickets. We have a extended stay Airbnb booked for a month and a half.
Yeah, so we have some skin in the game.
Yeah, so it's definitely a risk. We have had to think about what's our backup plan. We have a few ideas if this doesn't work out. Either way, we're going to Barcelona for the summer.
Yeah.
And we may end up traveling elsewhere, South America, for a little while if we can't stay for a year in Barcelona.
Other risks are like my job, potentially like I would have been quitting at this point, but as I said, things have worked out where I could potentially work remotely for them. But when we initially committed, we were like, okay, I'm going to be quitting this job where I've put in time over the last 3 years and built up a reputation, so that's a risk. Also, we're selling everything. That's a risk,
Yeah.
We had to liquidate all our savings. It was all in investments accounts and bonds, and we had to liquidate all that for the visa requirement.
We're not touching it. We're just sitting there.
Ultimately, we're young, and these risks in the long term aren't that much for this great opportunity.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is they say, like, as a college student, you spend $80,000 on your education, invest in yourself. We were probably, investing, non-refundable $3,000 to $4,000 in this process so far. And, it may work out. And if it does, that'll be a great thing. But, this is just something we're trying to, take this opportunity, and we think it'll pay off.
And we're learning so much from it as we go. Okay, so last we're gonna talk about some of our goals for the move, and I think it's clear some of our goals, but I think just to reiterate, like, we we really want to spend more time together and just making memories together while Calvin's a baby or a young toddler. And we really want to just simplify our lives. Just getting rid of all of our stuff has been a real process on my heart and mind, just thinking about what I value and what is truly important. And I think this next year or however long we're gone, we really want to focus on just living with what we need and not being a part of as much of the consumerist culture, and just really only living with what we need. And I think this will be a really good time for us to think about that before we eventually have a house of our own and settle down and really make thoughtful purchases. I'd like us to really focus on that. All that we're going to be able to bring with us is what will fit in a few suitcases, which is not that much when you realize how much babies have, which they have a lot of stuff.
Some others, as we said, we're moving there with my cousin lives there with her husband, and they're plugged into a church already, so we're just going to love, being with them. Excited to have a great conversation with people from completely different perspectives.
Really looking forward to being stretched spiritually and just hopefully opening our home that we have there to new friends and strangers, and just having sharing our faith and having intentional conversations with people from all different backgrounds.
Obviously learning Spanish, and then just doing well enough in my work, my new remote job, that we'll be able to make this a lifestyle change, and not just a one-year thing.
We're really, I know we might be mentioning this, but right now Ian hardly sees Calvin at all during the week, maybe 30 minutes a day. And I think just one of our biggest goals is just for us to all spend time, more time together, and just for him to get to see him more. So.
Yeah, and it's not wasted on us that we know that this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
That, just everything in our lives has made it possible. We've been blessed by our parents, our grandparents, so many people pouring into us.
Yeah, we're just super excited for this adventure and just super thankful for this opportunity. Yeah. And we will definitely be keeping everyone posted, and want to share because we want to share that we don't know exactly what we're doing, but we hope that we can inspire other people to take risks. And that's all.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully we get to see you in the next few weeks / months before we leave. Love all you guys. Love all the relationships we've made in Houston. And we're definitely going to miss everyone for sure. But we're looking forward to this next stage of life. And we just can't wait for it. So thanks for watching. See you guys around.